comfy? You comfy there? Hey weirdos, welcome back to my channel. My name is EmmaAbe and we have a friend with us. I built her a little bed. This is the baby. Look at you. You want to say hi? Do you want to say hi? No? Get a little fuzz on your face. Yeah, look at you. You're so cute. Today I'm here to do my last wrap up of the year of 2021, even though it is 2022 now. But I wanted to talk about all the books that I read in December. Did we read a lot of books in December? We did a decent amount. Well, I read 8 books in December, and I think that was pretty good. I read a lot of really long books. I read a lot of books that were definitely over 500 pages. Why don't you sit down? Aw, you're so cute. I read some very good books. I had a great reading month in December. So let's get it started off with the very first book I read is The Hill We Climb. This is by Amanda Gorman, and this is her inaugural poem. So I'd watched the inauguration, I'd listened to the poem. It was just really great to revisit. I don't really know what else to say about it. This did win. Yeah, do you smell the book? Does it smell good? This won the poetry category for the Goodreads Choice Awards, and you know what? I thought it was great. I'm not much of a poetry person, but there you go. The next book I read is the second book in a series. It is The Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. I'm gonna sit it here. I'm gonna sniff it. And I'm gonna be honest, I did not love this book. I really liked the first book in the series, but I just was not a big fan of the second book. I felt like it was a lot of just meandering around with very little to do. I felt like the plot was non-existent, and again, it had a lot of the same problems as the first book, just exacerbated. Like, a lot of nothing happened. It was way too long for what it could have been / needed to be. And I felt like there was just large swaths of just info dumping. I felt like it was a lot of characters standing around in libraries in particular and just talking about the things that they discovered and getting info dumped. And I just, I wasn't here for it. So actually kind of getting quite pissed off. Also, the main character, I just didn't believe like any of her inner dialogue. A big thing that she goes through is, am I in love with the main lead? And I thought we had firmly established in the first book that she was in love with him, and this whole time she's waffling about whether she actually does love him, about whether he loves her, and I just was like, it just didn't make sense to me, because I was like, you guys clearly do. It's really fucked up, and you guys don't necessarily treat each other great, but I don't know, and that was this one, so not my favorite, but I am going to finish the series. I am going to read the third one, but hopefully it is better than this one. For some reason, people have said that the second book is their favorite, and I don't get it. Do you get it? Do you get why people say it's their favorite? No. Here's one lie down. How you doing? She's cute. The next book I read is Of Beards and Men. This is the revealing history of facial hair. This is by Christopher Olson Moore. Sometimes I think you have a beard. Do you have a beard? And I really wanted this to take like more of a larger approach, like a more worldwide approach rather than just looking at Europe. And it acknowledges that it only looks at Europe, and like kind of the entire history of beards is out of the scope of the book, which, I thought was fine. I thought that the little like subheadings were very humorous at times, and yeah, I felt like it was very, very informative. I don't really know what else to say about this book. This book I did read without audiobooks. I really liked the ancient history stuff that it talked about. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. This was a recommendation from the Storygraphs. What? Sometimes this flight filming takes forever because she's just like this. The next book I read is Shadow and Bone. This is by Leigh Bardugo. This is the first book in the Grishaverse series. And, I thought it was fine. I wasn't pissed off by anything. It was fine. It was serviceable. It was a cool introduction into the world. I'm kind of interested to see where else this book goes. I think it leaves off on a good cliffhanger to kind of continue with. Gonna be honest, I felt like the turn to, spoilers, the dark one being evil, that might change in later books, but I felt like that was very abrupt. I didn't feel like there was much lead up to it. Yeah, but I'm excited for the next one, so that's good. What are you doing? The next book is China, A History by John Key. This, oh my god, has so much information in it. It is packed full. Like, trying to tackle China is really, really hard, and the history of China is very, very difficult. And I think, John Key, are you eating the book? Is it a tasty book? I gobbled this book up too. Yeah. Do you want belly rubbins? Yeah, so I think it's quite a feat. It is a huge feat to write the history of China, and I really admire the amount of dedication put in the beginning of the book to explain things that might be harder for I'm just gonna say Americans because I'm American to understand, such as like the history of how characters, like the Chinese characters, have been put into the Roman alphabet, because that is a feat in and of itself, and it has changed over time. I just appreciate how Darky takes a really, like, just holds you through like the story and just a lot of context. But oh my god, I felt like there was so much information in this. I felt like I didn't retain all of it. This is a book that I'm going to have to revisit after learning more about the different specific pieces of history. Yeah, so it's a feat. It's a feat. And, like, you know, props to the author for attempting it. And I think pulling it off to, like, a certain extent. I mean, the only thing it really suffers from is having all of this information to, like, dig through. It is a really good overview, and like if you want to learn more about specific like periods of time, there are other books for it, but it's a good, I think, overview of Chinese history, and I think that's exactly what it was going for, and I think it succeeded in that. Now we get to, I think, my favorite book that I read this month, and I don't have a problem saying that, and that is The Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. This is by Mo Shangtong, otherwise known as MXTX. Oh my god, I was so excited to get my hands on these books on December 14th, and it was so good. I pre-ordered this. Holy crap. This story has wiggled its way into my brain and has just stayed there. This is the first volume. I think there is going to be 3 more or 4 more, I think, volumes to go along with this one, because there's just the story. You follow Wei Ying, who is a demonic cultivator. Most cultivators, they cultivate using qi, and through various reasons, plot reasons that I cannot disclose, he cannot cultivate with qi anymore. So instead he uses resentful energy, which is generated when bad things happen or people die in like bad ways. And it just, oh my god, this book requires so much explanation because it is Chinese fantasy, and that is so much out of the realm of most fantasy published in like America, most English published fantasy. But I love Chinese fantasy. Over the course of the pandemic, I have fallen so deeply in love with it, and I love it. And this is probably one of my favorite stories, if not my most favorite Chinese fantasy story. It's definitely one of my favorite fantasy stories, period, because it has stayed in my brain and will not leave. So yeah, right, going back to the explanation. So Wei Ying cultivates with resentful energy. He winds up dying. That's actually the first thing you see. The first line of the book is iconic, and I'll read it to you. Is "Rejoice, Wei Wuxian is dead." And Wei Wuxian is Wei Ying. It's the same name. It's complicated. So he died, and he is resurrected. And how he's resurrected is that this character sacrifices his soul so that Wei Ying's soul can be put in the body of the person who sacrificed himself. You follow Wei Ying trying to transition to being dead for years to this new life, and while he is kind of bumbling about, trying to figure out what is happening, where he is, like what time is it, he runs into people from the past in his first life. one of the main and most important people being Lanjan. That is the dude in white on this cover. And Lanjan, who is also a cultivator. He is a regular cultivator. He cultivates with chi. And he is distraught that Wei Ying died. When we start the book, when Wei Ying is resurrected, it has been 13 years since Wei Ying has died. And one thing Wei Ying does not know, but is plainly clear to literally everybody else, is that Lanchan is in love with Wei Ying, and Wei Ying is in love with Lanchan. But they're both idiots, and they don't realize it. So you follow them gallivanting around the world, the cultivation world, falling in love with each other. And it's really, really cute, in my opinion. Do not be misled by me saying this is a really cute story. This is a very dark story. It is also a mystery. The mystery they're trying to solve is basically what the fuck happened with these body parts. So when Wei Ying is resurrected, he is resurrected in the Mo Manor, which is the house of the person who sacrificed his body, his family's house. The person who died to resurrect Wei Ying's house. And what is happening at the Mo Manor is that there is this arm, this disembodied arm that is killing people. And there's a young group of cultivation students, young cultivators, who are trying to figure out what the fuck is up with this arm and trying to suppress this arm so that it doesn't kill any more people, because people are dying and that's not cute. And it's through this attack on this event happening at Mo Manor that Wei Ying meets up with Lan Zhan. They basically spend the rest of the book trying to gather the body parts of this arm, the body that this arm belongs to, and they're trying to figure out, okay, what the fuck is happening with this arm? Who is this body? And some of my favorite things from this volume in particular is drunk Lan Zhan. Anytime Lan Zhan gets drunk, it is beautiful, because Lan Zhan is one of those people who he's a lightweight. He don't remember anything, and he's very unfiltered. It causes chaos. It's real cute. I love any moments that Wei Ying interacts with the juniors, which are the young cultivators, the people who are learning cultivation. It's so cute, and there's just so many good moments in this. I should have bookmark some of my favorite moments. For those of you who know The Untamed, which is the drama that is based off of this book, it's structured differently than The Untamed. The Untamed, you get Wei Ying dies, and then you have the first two episodes. The first episode is Mo Manor, and then the second episode is the stuff that happens on the Death on Mountain where the Ghost General shows up again. And then you go to a flashback that explains everything from when Wei Ying first meets Lan Zhan to when he dies, and that lasts for 30 episodes. But in this book, you don't get that. It's really following the present story mostly, and you get some flashbacks. We got a chapter flashback to when Lan Zhan met Wei Ying originally, so when they were studying together and in school together. Just, oh my god, there's so many cute moments in that. I highly recommend this book. I love this book so much. Definitely 5-star read. Oh, so good. I read so many good books. These next two books I'm going to talk about. My last 2 weeks reading, oh, it was so good. Last 2 weeks of 2021 were amazing. I had an awesome time. The next book I'm going to talk about is also part of a series, and it's also fantasy. And that is The Wall of Storms by Ken Liu. This is the second book in the Dandelion Dynasty. I cannot pronounce that word. Oh my god, I love this book. It got a 5-star for me. Holy crap, so much better than the first book, and I really liked the first book. The first book I think got a 4 for me, and I read the first book back over the summer. What's so great about this is that this takes the world that we know, which is Dara. Dara is the world. It's a set of islands that everybody is warring over in the first book. So it picks right off from when the first book left. There's a bit of a time jump, but Dara is ruled by Kunigaru, and he has 3 kids, and we're learning more about these kids. We're watching these kids grow up. Oh, they're so great. I love them so much. So you have these 3 kids, and you're learning all about them. You're following them as they grow up. You also have this introduction of this character called Zomi. I love Zomi. She is amazing. I was super happy when my sapphic vibes that I was getting turned out to be true. I died. I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, this is not how you queerbait your audience. This is how you actually write queer characters into a story, and it's just so good. Anyway, Zoe is really cool. She's more of an academic character who grew up really, really poor, but then was taken in by this scholar, and she learned everything she knows from the scholar, and it's just so great to learn about her growing up as well, because you meet her when she's like a baby, basically. So you have all these characters in Dara that are from the first book that you grew and loved, but then it expands the world. So you're introduced to this literal wall of storms in the sea, and behind that wall of storm is this completely new land with new characters, and huge thing is that these characters they invade Dara. And so a large part of the like last third, if not the second half of the book, is dealing with these invaders and how do we deal with this new crisis that is happening. And this is a sprawling fantasy book. It is epic in its scale. You have tons of characters, and I cannot wait for the third book. I believe the hardcover's out, and I just have a feeling that in the third book we are going to pick up on new consequences. The world is going to get even bigger. I'm just so happy. It takes all of the what the fuck moments from the first book and escalates them and like does crazy cool things. I love how Ken Liu writes battles. It's really imaginative and just crazy things happen. I just love this book. It makes me so happy. So I cannot wait for the third book. This is also a recommendation from the Story Graph. Oh, you smell so clean because I gave you a bath. You do not like that. You do not like baths. No, you don't. But you smell so clean. It's so cute. The very last book I read is Lore Olympus by Rachel Smithy. And this is originally published on Webtoons. And I read the Webtoons. I haven't been keeping up with the Webtoons in the last 6 months, so oops. But I really, really liked it. Where are you going? And this book is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and I'm a sucker for mythology retellings, and I just really like this. Some people have an issue with the age gap. The age gap in this isn't that much of an issue because we're dealing with gods. They live forever, so what the fuck even is an age gap? You know, kind of when you're dealing with infinite scales of time, but that's just me. Everyone has their own things. I really like that in this there is a content warning for rape because there is a reason Apollo is nicknamed as Apollo in the community. Yeah, so that is in this volume. I'm not sure how many volumes there's going to be, but this is the first one. And I really liked where it ended. I was going to be really upset if it ended with the rape scene, and it doesn't. It goes like one scene after that, and thank goodness, because that would have made me very, very sad at the end. I don't really know what to say about this. Like, it's great. It's good. It's a good graphic novel to read. I think Persephone is very adorably naive, but she is very, very strong and has a lot of resilience, and I'm very, very excited to learn more about her. And I think Hades has a lot of trauma that he is working through, but he's just like a sad boy, essentially. And yeah, I thought it was very, very enjoyable. I think Hera is a badass. I want more Hera. I'm very excited to see what happens in the future with this. So December, like last 3 books were just bang, hit after hit after hit. I really, really enjoyed all of them. What do you think? What do you think, baby? Did you enjoy all the books that I read? What do you think? What are you going to tell the people? Do you want a Billy Robbins? Billy Robbins? Do you want Billy Robbins? Do you want Billy Robbins? Then she gets upset. Billy Robbins, do you want Billy Robbins? Billy Robbins. Alright, well, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know, how did your December reading go? Did you have some really awesome books that you read at the end of December? Or do you want Belly Rubbins too? Or do you want some cuddles from the baby here? I know I always do. She's so sweet. She's so sweet. I love her so much. Yeah, look at you. What? This is like how she is all the time. You just can't see it because I don't have like her propped up. But you can see it now because I have her propped up. How's it going? give you a faux hawk. Oh, do you hear someone? What do you hear? All right, so do all of the things for YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know how your December went. All of those good things. And we are going to go snuggle. You want to say goodbye? You want to say goodbye? You want to say goodbye? Okay, she's done. Bye-bye. You want belly rubbins? Do you want belly rubbins? Belly rubbins. You want belly rubbins? Belly rubbins. Yeah, look at that. Belly rubbins. She's so tired. She's so cute.